So this one's dedicated to the artists who are already making quality money, and quality money to each person is going to be a little bit different. But the point that I want to make here is you can scale and you can consistently increase your revenue generation and not have to work more. You just need to know how to prioritize and really push your brand to be a multi-product production. The thing that I've been really good at over the course of time is utilizing individual skills in a magnitude of ways. You can task stack when it comes to skill knowledge and really start to create a lot of momentum without having to double down your efforts or to stack too much shit on your plate. And that's really what I want to dive into today. For instance, me as a tattoo artist, all right? I love what I do. Sincerely, more than anything, I will never be done tattooing. I'm not going to be one of those social media gurus who retire from tattooing to give you a bunch of shit that's no longer like relatable or applicable to the way that the industry's scaling. However, what I will not sacrifice is my own creativity and my own curiosity to be able to gain more skills to not only make me more significant and more successful, but to consistently make sure my creativity is always rapidly growing. Because curiosity, no different in our art, applies to our business, to the things that we get to utilize for momentum moving forward. Now, that's a shit ton of big words for saying monetize all the fucking art that you do in the same pathway that you've been able to scale your tattoo business. So, if you have a really quality reputation with a particular group of individuals in your community, you can utilize that information to also be able to tap into other markets who may not be prepared or may not be interested in getting tattoos, but everyone still wants to experience emotion and experience themselves in pieces of art. This has happened for eons and eons. The reason Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci and everyone really got names for themselves, even though mostly after they died, was because people could experience themselves in art that was created through a creative lens. Now we have a real world opportunity to be able to do so in real time at a much faster rate, solely because of how valuable social media truly is. So once we have a really quality brand designed in our local communities, we can start to expand that radius little by little, really showcasing where our creative zone of genius comes from. So, whether it's something as simple as selling prints or you want to move into the apparel market, as long as there's a mission, a message, and something that someone else can experience through it, then you're on the right path. The problem a lot of artists struggle with is they just produce art for art's sake, but it comes with no true like significance when it comes to an emotional expression or something that someone can attach themselves to. We as humans on this planet are emotional creatures at our cores. Whether you want to admit that or not, emotions come in a magnitude of different ways. And people who do not have the creative zone of genius that we do are always looking for art that they can relate to. They do it in music, they do it in imagery, they do it in a million different ways, even attaching themselves to people's opinions online. All of these things are people attaching their emotions to someone else's ability of output. So when we can do this through our creative zone of genius, then we can start to utilize it as a strong suit for people to truly believe in who it is we are, what it is we do, and why it is we do it. So with tattoos, that is a very, very significant decision someone makes. So take a step back. How can you help someone attach themselves to what it is you're expressing through the art that you produce? And can you allow people to see that you are more than just a one trick pony? I do a lot of commissioned art for very well known, very high achieving entrepreneurs. And the way that I do that is by networking and by truly getting to know my ideal avatar for not only my paintings, but also my tattooing. Now, this doesn't make me have to work more. It just gives me the opportunity to get to know how the psychology of my buyer works while I'm still providing them with value by being present and being something of significance in those social circles. Obviously, I mean, a lot of the guys that I associate with, they look at me as their carbon copy tattoo friend. I'm their token tattoo buddy, but I'm also articulate and can maintain a really quality conversation when it comes to business structure, business strategy, and also dick and fart jokes. But that gives me the opportunity to know how it is I can speak to these people how it is I'm going to be required to present myself to be able to speak to other similar social circles while selling my art. And it also gives me good ideas of different ways I can express my emotions for what would be relatable or attractive to those consumers. Now, the key element to all of this is simply find a way to attach yourself to the people who you can best relate to so that they can relate to you. You want to become a part of someone else's journey so that they can become a part of yours. By doing so, this gives you more opportunities to create more art because you, as a creative, should not have sacrificed your creativity to wear the badge or the title of tattoo artist. You should have enhanced your creativity and not stopped creating for your own growth, your own capabilities, your own belief systems, your own like zone of genius. If that's the case, then not only do you already have a pretty reputable tattoo business, but now you can start to create a pretty reputable business in the art that you produce because it all comes from the same place. The same God gifted talent that you were given can now be dispersed in a magnitude of ways. You know, you can go in so many different pathways with this, but it all truly starts with skill. All right. Just because you have a talent, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're absorbing skills. You're just producing talent. So you need to absorb the skills, you need to learn how they're utilized, and you need to do that at mass to be able to create the kind of life that you would always imagined. If this is something that you want to know more about, if this is something that you're curious about, or if none of this made any fucking sense at all to you, please comment below, like, subscribe, do all of the cartoon character things that YouTubers always say you should do. If you have any questions, let me know.